What's up everyone, my name's Dutch and welcome back to another Gears of War 4 tips and tricks video. Today's video is about the controller grip and the essential differences between regular and claw. I'll explain a few key advantages and disadvantages of both styles, as well as touch on some other things at the end. So let's get started. The first grip style is default, which is the normal way you hold the controller. Not much to say about this, but it is worth mentioning that this is the most used style in Gears of War. The second is claw, which is where you place your index finger on the buttons and use your middle finger or ring finger to pull the trigger. This allows you to move, look, take action, and shoot at the same time. Very beneficial to learn in the long run. Playing default is great for accuracy and consistency because you're only moving one finger to do one thing: look or take action. In this example, you'll see me wall bouncing at various speeds to illustrate the consistency of the style. All in all, it's not at all bad or noob to play default, but the biggest problem is that once you get to a certain category of players, you will start to lack in mobility and reflexes because of the same thing that's a good thing, which is only having one finger to look or take action. Now when we talk about claw, it's the opposite. The con is that you have to move two fingers at once, your thumb and your index finger. But the pro is that you can look and take action at the same time. This allows you for much greater mobility, like cancelling mid-ball bounce and changing directions. As you can see in the example, it's possible to change between styles on the fly, once again allowing you a lot more freedom. Another con is that it's quite difficult to learn and even harder to master, usually taking up to 4 to 5 weeks before someone gets used to holding the controller differently. Of course, this depends on how much you play and how fast you pick it up. Now onto some common misconceptions. The number one thing people will say about claw is that it gives you arthritis, which of course is not accurate. In fact, there are many kinds of arthritis and most only show up once you're at a much older stage. Things like wear and tear, excessive repetitive movements, lack of physical exercise, and a bad immune system can all aid the process, but it's not that simple. It could also run in your family, which can mean that you're going to get it anyway when you're older. Keep in mind that we use our hands for everything, and our fingers only bend. They don't turn, roll, or rotate like other joints, such as your hips and shoulders. So we're meant to move our fingers. Yes, they allow for such similar movements, but you can't physically turn your fingers around. Now, if all of these rumors were true, then people who wrote or typed for a living would all be suffering from it right now. Next is the carpal tunnel syndrome, again thought to be caused by playing claw. Similar to the arthritis story, but a little bit different because the symptoms are not the same. Carpal tunnel syndrome is caused often by inflammation of your wrist joints, which in turn cause your nerves to be blocked and can be a discomfort or lead to serious injuries. Now both of these problems can be treated by stretching and exercise. Gripping movements such as pulling and holding will strengthen your fingers, hands, and wrists. And stretching movements such as forearm and bicep stretches, as well as stretching your fingers, can relieve pressure and allow for more blood flow, which in time helps recovery and undo damage. So no, your hands will not fall apart from trying or doing this for a couple of years. Now lastly, I want to quickly share my opinion on the custom controllers and alternate control schemes in Gears of War. First, I think learning claw is always more beneficial to you if you're not looking to be only able to play a certain way whenever you have a special controller, such as an Xbox Elite controller. Second, using the tournament control scheme to change the cover button to LB so you can keep your thumb on the right stick and the left index finger on the LB button is great, yes. But you will find that at the higher levels of Gears, using your TACCOM very frequently is still very important. So you'll still have to decide whether to look or use the TACCOM. Third, you have to pick what works best for you and admit how far you want to take it. I will always recommend playing claw if you want to get better at Gears in general, but it's not necessary to have fun or be good at the game. It takes very long to learn the foundations of the game already, and forcing yourself to play a certain way where you're not even sure of what you find most enjoyable will not work for anyone, least of all yourself. So that's it for today. I hope the video helped you out, and if it did, consider dropping a like. Let me know in the comments below what style you play and why, and whether or not you're using a custom controller or a different control scheme. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you next time. Take care and good luck.